Video game, flash fiction. This is a timed writing game where I'll roll this dice, select Atari 2600 game, slot it into the console, play the game, write a flash fiction story, read it aloud at the end. To be able to make this a game, well, let's go ahead and roll this dice. It's a 12-sided dice. I've got I guess it would be more of a column of 12 games. From bottom to top, we'll roll this dice. We're at number 10. Ooh boy, we'll see if this one works. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And today's video game flash fiction story will be inspired by the game MASH. Yes, which is, of course, seems to be inspired by either the movie or the television series. I'm going to clean this because I know I've had issues with this particular game. One other time I tried to play this and it did not work. But that was an Atari 2600 Sixer. So it's potentially the device and then the age of these cartridges as well as some dirt. I'm going to give this one go because at one point in time this did test out to work for me. I'm going to slot it into this device here and we'll power on. We'll see what happens. Will it air out? I don't know. Will it work? Maybe. I hope so. I really do. We're about to find out. Loading game. This one did not. Oh, yep. It is not going to be working. Well, I hate to waste a game, but yeah, let's go ahead and just power off and let's roll again. I might have to permanently put this game, in the graveyard. It did not survive the war of video game playing, I suppose. Let's roll this dice again. Well, it's a 12, and now I only have a stack of 11, so let's roll this dice again. It is 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taz. Ooh, that is chock full of intellectual property. And that's a stack of cartridges falling over. All right, let's try this one. Slot it in. Power on. All right. Come on, Taz. I have no idea. Like, I know the character. And I know this game at least powered up one time. Never played it. Didn't own it. And maybe. There we go. 1983. Wow. Whoa. What am I doing? Okay. Interesting. So I want burgers and not bombs. And this, I'm a tornado. Like if we're trying to like remove intellectual property. Like Taz is absolutely copyrighted. I think probably the name is used as a cartoon character, license trademarked. So let's just throw all that out. And I've got a game where I'm a tornado. And I'm collecting. I instantly identified those as hamburgers. But, and I didn't think this game would be. I thought maybe this game, when I was thinking of the character, you'd maybe tornado through things. And this just seems like collect the hamburgers. And don't get hit by explosives. It's not an unfun game, it's like the old phone games. Or the new phone games. The phone games all the kids are raving about. But you're a tornado. I don't see any sort of Tasmanian devil-like creature. or even much like the cartoon. So I wonder, do I have... Yeah, I don't know. This is a peculiar game. Are there levels? Let's go select. So there's level 1, level 2. I bet this is 2-player. And you like compete against each other. And then player 2 can go. I mean, it's wouldn't you? Whoa! Hey, that was not on purpose, but that looked kind of cool. Oh shit! How are you like? Yeah. Oh, this is player 2, and I don't have joystick 2 in there. So let's go back to game 1. So I got to write a story on this that has literally hamburgers and sticks of dynamite. Yeah. That is, and you're a... I mean, it's visibly... It looks like a tornado. Because I don't see... Like, I'm not going to use the cover art for the cartridge because that's intellectual property. So this game here is... Why? Why? What's the motive? I mean, the motive of this tornado is to get things that look like hamburgers. And somehow there's a place in the world, universe, the multiverse, the dimensions, I like to think of them, where this is the reality of that dimension, I suppose. Can I make this into a game about work? Because this is like a tornado that's consuming hamburgers, but then is then blown apart with dynamite. Now, I know there is that idea, if you had a tornado, and not like a dust devil, like this reminds me of a dust devil, but if you had a tornado that like a big explosion would stop it, but it'd have to be ridiculously large and potentially destructive. And I swear I've heard people saying you could nuke a tornado. That's the theory, and maybe whether that's true or not, we don't know. Just to stop a tornado that's going to cost less damage and has less potential of danger than any other device stopping that tornado out in the ocean. If that is indeed more than... Anyway, I don't want to start talking too much about science because then I'll just start sounding more and more stupid. And then I don't need that right now because I got to figure out this story and make myself feel smart. Dynamite, but it's a dust devil and it's hamburgers. Wow. So I guess I can... Okay, so that gives me an impression of what Taz looks like. At least I can use the opening splash screen. That does give me inspiration. So I can say that this is indeed an animal. Would I know it's a Tasmanian devil? I mean, I've seen Tasmanian devils, but I probably wouldn't have seen as many Tasmanian devils if it hadn't been for the creation of, well, the character Taz. There are many animals out there that are not as popular as a Tasmanian devil. It could have been as popular if they became some sort of pop culture icon. And I can't remember, like, Tasmanian devil wasn't about eating hamburgers. This is not like what Wimpy and Popeye. I think that one actually had hamburgers in it. Cartoon, that is. Comic strip. I mean, this is not unfun. Obviously, I'm playing it, but I got to write a story. I'm gonna... How many minutes in? Where's my timer? Oh, did I not? Damn it. Well, I got stream time. Stream time says about 13 minutes in. Maybe 8 minutes because I started late. But I need to write a story, so let's go ahead and write something called Taz. We'll write the file right here. Fudge, man. I don't want to have a TXIT in there. So let's go ahead and not make that file. Let's make this file. Here we go. I don't even know. Um, there's hamburgers and there's dynamite, and they're going across the screen because yeah, I'm struggling. I just don't know. There's like this supposed creature, but when I'm playing this game, I don't see that creature. I see a tornado, a piece of dynamite that just blew up my other tornado, and there's hamburgers. They give you 50 points. Because it's like the Tasmanian Devil is all about kind of just chaos, just something showing up randomly, spinning in, knocking stuff over. My memory's bad because I'm old and there's too many things to remember. But what little memory I have about Tasmanian Devil cartoons, I honestly don't remember dynamite or hamburgers being a staple or a theme. But then again, who knows? Someone lifted a graphic from someplace, but this oh man, this is how does the hamburgers work into this? This is, I mean, like a manufacturing facility that's has dynamite and hamburgers in it. That doesn't make sense. Taz could be some sort of auditor that's going through this. Like, I got to get all the hamburgers. I was having like visions of like work camps that do exist, where you live, you die, you marry within the work camp, and they are more of a you're automating, which is the cheapest thing to do. Don't do robots. They're going to get expensive, and we're all going to get lazy, and they won't kill us. We'll just kill ourselves with laziness. What could this possibly be? A tunnel? I'm driving, and there's this twirling thing that's consuming hamburgers? Like, I don't even... And they're lanes. So, like, there's dynamite, then there's a hamburger. Maybe it's a milkshake. Why am I thinking? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a milkshake. And, yes. So this could be like a mega fast food. Man, what a weird story it's going to be. I got what? I got about hour 15. And I got like a mega fast food. And those are milkshakes. They're not dynamite. I was thinking the explosive thing. But maybe they're lactose intolerant. This creature that turns into a tornado. Because that seems to like diminish your... Yeah. Okay. So like that's a thing. It's gonna be something food based. Those are not sticks of dynamite. Oops, I'm hitting a dot. Well, at least I wrote something. 15 minutes in. And the only thing I put on screen for as far as syntax or words are concerned are accidental because the joystick cord hit the button. Breath is making my nose itch. Yeah. So let's do something with food. And man, that's like a creature though. That's like I got two things. I got this creature at the beginning called Taz. Taz is going to have to be an acronym. why would the Taz? Well, I don't know. Maybe the Taz. Maybe the Taz is really good at wrapping hamburgers, and that's what the Taz does. But it can't wrap a milkshake because it'll spill it, and that's what's happening. You're spilling the milkshake because you're only supposed to wrap the hamburgers. Now, I'm going to make this like a work camp. Boy, another story about work. You know how many people want to spend their leisure time reading stories about work? Maybe one, me. But what else? Like seems like some sort of assembly line. Man, this is the best I've been doing, and I haven't even moved. Oh, boom. There comes a milkshake. Okay, so what's the acronym? This is going to be a machine. The wrapping machine. And you can't, so this is the, okay, that's what it's going to be. It will be the story, the crux of the story will be sort of maybe make it in favor of their attempt to create a robot. I mean, because you don't need a Taz to wrap a hamburger. I mean, that's just you could automate that so much easier through gravity and a slide. But there are people that are going to be still wrapping it. Maybe the wrap changes. I don't know. I'm really trying to think. I feel like this is an automated Taz. What's Taz? If I get the name of Taz, it's going to be an acronym. The trainable. God, what the hell is Z going to stand for? I don't even know Z words enough, like zoo. Xenophobe. No, xenophobe is X. Zebra. What are Z words? If I'm going to do it now, man, this is going to be a tough acronym. Fudge. The trainable something. I'm going to look at a search and return engine right now, and I'm typing in words that begin with Z. I don't, yeah. What are 100 words? It's a Zoom. Oh my God. Yes. What does A stand for? I think it's just going to be Zoom. I mean, there's, I guess, zone, zip, zingy, zany, zoom. The trainable animal zoom. Yeah, that sucks. The trainable animal zone. No, because that's like, you gotta have that being your thingy name. And you don't have a zone. It's a zipper? No. Wrapper. I mean, I'd love it to be not Taz. 50 words that start with Z. Zealous, zesty. And it kind of has to be like in our nouns. Let's narrow my search and return. Nouns that start with Z. Your dictionary. What do you got for me? Z-axis, zag, zap, zeal, zealot, zebra, zeppelin, zest, excitement, zest. Wow, man, I gotta think of some zest. Zitch, zilch, zilch, zillion, zinc, zine, rather, zinger, zipper, zycron. Whoa, I don't know. It's got to be zone. Yeah, it's got to be zone. The trainable animal zone. Is part of the food pipeline. Both feeding the workers of perfect work camp. And let's put some number so maybe not too ridiculous so it doesn't look like some sort of good. Yeah, the trainable animal zone is part of the pipeline, both feeding the workers of perfect work camp 12. The trainable animal zone is part of the pipeline, both feeding the workers of perfect work camp 12 and testing new animals. Let's say, I don't know what I've. What are we testing? Are we testing new animals, like bio machines? Oh, darn! That's like the milkshake. That's the hamburger. This will be the first and the last time they use this special creature that spins. So the trainable animal zone is part of a pipeline. Of a food pipeline. Both for feeding the human workers of Perfect Work Camp 12 and testing a food research pipeline. Let's do that. R&D, I think a lot of people will know what the hell R&D is. And R is both a food R&D pipeline that feeds the human workers of Perfect Work Camp 12 and tests new machines, bio and is it like mineral machines? I don't know what to call them. Bio and mineral machines to package food. Throughout the world. Okay, so now I need to like have this creature. This is what they're testing. It's a new bio machine, we'll call them for this story. We're gonna wrap hamburgers. We're getting the points, yo. Wrapping hamburgers. Just say 50 cents per wrapping hamburger. So the trainable animal zone is part of the food R&D pipeline that feeds the human workers at Perfect Work Camp 12 that tests new bio and mineral machines to package food throughout the world. The tornado wrapper. Wrappers. Let's make this thing, this bio machine, like it would be a test new bio and mineral machines to package food through the world. The tornado wrapper. Tornado, not tornado. I think. I don't know. That's my hunch. Maybe I'm right. Don't matter. Let's move on. The tornado wrapper. Bio machine. What's it look like? Well, I have a picture of it. That's like, I gotta describe that thing without saying it looks like this cartoon character called Taz. Yeah, I don't know. It's good to have big, thick legs, man. Those legs are way too skinny to be able to sustain that type of spinning. And like their core is not even locked in. There's just no way. They're a bio. They're definitely not. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of spinning. Tornado wrapper, a bio machine. Adapted. From the military. Attack. Adapted from the. It's. Oh man, what am I saying? It's a bio machine adapted, trained, made for the military. To spin through enemy lines and tie up the enemy if human, or pull out wires if machine. If animal. We'll say animal and machine. Some executive would say something like, we can save and maybe multi-use. Of said the patent owner of the bio machines. It's not going to work. The board of $12 promised to pay the CEO. Let's just give this person a weird name. No, it's real. Doesn't have to be like weird. It's got to be futuristic. In the future, where our names are just gonna become uniform. Well, I wouldn't say that. They'll still have some uniqueness to it, but if the world as it seems to be projecting will eventually, and we don't kill ourselves, we'll become just like a bunch of mutts. And it won't matter what we're named. It depends on, the corporate owner of us. They'll name us. Said the patent owner said Steinreiter. So it's definitely be like some Anglo name. Patent. That's not how you spell patent. Patent? Maybe. Owner of the biomachine wrapper. The board of Perfect Work Amtel promised to pay Stein Wrapper. Steinreiter. I swear I've used that name for last before. I do need a pause. I'll get some more coffee. I'll throw up this splash screen. I'll be back and, oops. I want to go do this. Well, coffee had. And back to Steinreiter and Taz. Let's play this for a moment so I can get my mind back into this. Trying to find the flash fiction story. And we have at least the opening in the beginning. Because we're going to have this intellectual property free. And because Taz is a Looney Tunes character. Very heavily trademarked, copyrighted. We're not going to be able to use that intellectual property for the story, which is fine, because the story has been found. Because Taz is wrapping hamburgers right now. And Taz cannot wrap milkshakes. So this is the test to see if they want to try to multi-purpose a military machine to wrap hamburgers, to replace humans wrapping hamburgers. It's gonna fail because it can't do things. In fact, it stops the tornado. Is that all I got? Okay, well, I'm gonna start this again and see how long this task survives if it just stays in one of the manufacturing and distributions. This place takes place in a work camp. These are not fictional places. These places do exist, and they do have certain vendors that sell the food. And this particular one is an automated system. So the board of Perfect Work Camp 12 promised to pay Steinreiter with shares a Perfect Work Camp if Taz tested. Maybe I'll have a point value and I'll play the game, and that will determine whether the task succeeds in the story or fails in the story. But I got to get there first. It won't take much because at least with flash fiction, you're talking 800 to 1200 words. I usually hit about 6. The board of Perfect Work Camp 12 promised to pay Steinreiter with shares of Perfect Work Camp if the tests in the trainable, just name drop TAS, the acronym. So it's the Trainable Animal Zone, the TAS. Is a success. Now I got to define the TAS and then define that creature right there, because that is what it looks like. Somehow, even with its tiny legs and small waist and no visible core, it can spin like a tornado. That much. Is a test a success? If it is a success, okay. So we have the assembly line. I'm going to just name draw. I got to make sure I pound into the reader's mind. And I'll use TAS from here on out. This is a flash fiction story, so it's not like I should need to be too repetitive. I don't want to waste words, but this is a conveyor belt, so it'd be a row of conveyor belts. I hate to use to be verbs, but I'm like now just want to use is or are. The trainable animal zone delivers is a series. Yeah, just go there. I don't got time, nor do I want to waste time. Is a series of conveyor. I can't remember. Who cares? Move on. Conveyor belts. Moving food. So we got that's the animal. That's the scene. Moving belts. Bidirectional. A series of bidirectional conveyor belts used to allow, what did I have? Animal, or I mean like mineral machines, because we're technically machines, bio machines, or metal machines. I don't know. We'll just go allow bio machines. Let's not overthink this. Mostly human. And a few metal machines, like the conveyor belts. belts to cook, assemble, and wrap hamburgers. And because it's two different, if you're going to have a test, you're going to have like two different types of things. One that is a hamburger and the other one that is a milkshake. And the milkshake can't be wrapped by this Taz. Now they kind of know this already. So they're expecting this thing to run on the conveyor belt and wrap these hamburgers and not touch a milkshake. If it touches a milkshake, tips it over, milk gets everywhere, it's a failed test. And there's a point value to this system for testing this Taz. And that will then determine the end. If I can reach that point, I got 49 minutes to do it in. Okay, I can do it. The conveyor belt cooks, assembles, and wraps. The conveyor belt, so it's plural, so assemble and wrap. I'm trying to get to, for years I didn't use a serial comma. Now I do. I fell into pop culture and people's loves of the serial comma. Anyway, let's move on. Don't need another tangent in my life. Assemble and wrap hamburgers. Or so they all man, so many mistakes. Should be able to read over them though. Like the conveyor belts to cook, assemble. Oh, let's get at least a little bit better. And we'll just do an end. Fill, cap, and insert a straw. Pour a milkshake. Let's just do that. Fill a cup with a milk with ice cream. I'll just say milkshake. Because I'm just going to fill it with milkshake. We just know what a milkshake is. Fill a cup with milkshake. Cream. I got to move on. Cap the cup and insert a straw. Now we can just have it be Taz. I should have bounded into the reader's mind that trainable animal zone is training that animal right there. Which I got to give it a name. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I have the patent holder's name, and that's really insignificant. The trainable animal zone series. Okay, so and wraps hamburgers and fills cups, conveyor belts. Whoa. This is such a crap sentence. It's a long one. The trainable animal zone, the Taz, is a series of bidirectional conveyor belts used to allow biomachines, mostly humans and a few metal machines, like the conveyor belts. I'm going to fix this because my reading will be a lot better the fewer mistakes that I see in my way. And there are many already. Many. So a few metal machines like the conveyor belts, comma, to cook, assemble, and wrap hamburgers, and fill cups with milkshake sauce. We'll say that. Cap the cup and insert a straw. The Taz delivers the food to workers living in, what did I call this place? Perfect Work Camp 12. in the perfect work camps. This is just work camp 12 that deals with the TAS. Okay, so I'll just repeat this. Probably going to be pounding it over the reader's head, but Perfect Work Camp 12 tests the, what do you got to name that thing right now? What is it? It looks like a rodent. The rodent wrapper. And if it was like, once a military thing, it's, you know, it's going to have an acronym or some nickname. We'll say A for animal, K for killer, AK. Well, you know, that's that's already been taken. It's a pretty famous acronym to use. AK-47. Let's not use AK. ARK, ARC maybe. It's really witty. So it's called an ARC. ARCY maybe. Maybe they give it its acronym is an ARC. The animal. I don't know what the hell the R would mean. I was going to think rapper, but that starts with a W. wouldn't exactly fill out that acronym very well. Let's play this game and maybe I can think, what the hell is this thing called? I got the patent. I don't think I named it. I didn't. Maybe I can make it the devil. I mean, it wraps a thing though. Rope. The animal rope tire, rope wrapper. Rope wrapper. The arc. What's a C? Is there a C word that I could use for arc? Or a C word or a K word. Rope contortionist. Let's just call it a Jimmy. I don't know where that came from, but short for the nickname. A nickname given it the military. This is gonna be all over the place. It's a short story. It's a flash fiction story, even shorter than a short story. So, yeah, military. That's how I spell it. Maybe. Given a nickname by the military from its acronym. I'm not even gonna say what it is. I don't want to go there. I don't have words. This will at least give it some hint. Acronym. Man. I'm going to leave out that. I'm not even going to throw out what that means. The Perfect Work Camp 12 Twist Jimmy, a nickname that wraps things and pulls and that wraps and unwraps things. That's what it does. So I'm going to have to go ahead and update what it does because it can still pull the wires, right? So its use case by the military is basically it can unwrap a tank somehow. I mean, it's a tornado. It's that thing. It's Jimmy. Test the Jimmy, a nickname given to by the military from the acronym Jim that wraps and unwraps things. Because some dude named Jim was like, you know, the acronym, who cares? I'm still talking supposedly about the trainable action zone. The trainable action zone, animal zone. Slotted the noon lunch test, the noon lunch test, because this is a work camp. They've got many different lunches, so I guess, I don't know. If you're working your life away 24 hours a day and your machine for perfect work camp never stops, is there truly ever a lunch? It's someone else's lunch is another person's dinner. That wraps and unwraps things. The trainable animal zone slotted the noon test for Jimmy to give the test, noon lunch test for Jimmy's acceptance as Jimmy's test to see if perfect work camp wanted to, my past tense or present tense, wants to present use and build the Jimmy. Now we can talk about the Jimmy. Now that we got a name, I just should probably put this up here. I'll just leave that nickname right there. I mean, it's like the second paragraph, for hell's sakes. Set up the conflict, the tension, the area, the environment, the scene. And I guess this is technically the protagonist. But I can tell a little bit more about the Jimmy. And then the Jimmy live action, what this game does and whether they succeed or fail. What time do I got? I've got not a lot of time. I've got 38 minutes left. And I'm going to still play this just a little bit. So this is the Jimmy. Rapid hamburgers, can't wrap milkshakes. The Jimmy stands, we'll say 2 feet tall, with engineered muscles what's the whole mouth thing? Like, I get it from the having this as a cartoon character, but it's Jimmy. That's where the rope's stored. Engineered muscles, able to spin its narrow waist, able to spin its top heavy body with its narrow waist and skinny legs. The Jimmy's top heavy body. Holds the rope to wrap. Holds the rope to wrap. Holds the rope or the paper to wrap hamburgers. And is engineered to sanitize. Jimmy stands 2 feet tall with engineered muscles, able to spin his top heavy body with its narrow waist and skinny legs. The Jimmy's top heavy body holds rope or the paper to wrap hamburgers and is engineered to sanitize. Engineered to sanitize. The Jimmy looks like a tornado, a dust devil. when it spins. Maybe that's how it's going to fail if I don't succeed. Maybe I'll get 3 chances. And they'll discover that the Jimmy spills milkshakes. What time do I got? Okay, I got 35 minutes. I got like 3 paragraphs left. The Jimmy looks like a dust devil when it spins to wrap or unwrap a thing. Jimmy has been trained to wrap hamburgers. They would know beforehand, so I'll call that out on this paragraph about Jimmy. Has been trained to wrap hamburgers on a moving surface, on bidirectional surfaces. And yes, maybe they don't. Maybe that's part of the test. Jimmy, let's put this back to, let's at least name drop. I know it's a lot of characters for a flash fiction story. There's let's talk about Steinreiter. Steinreiter, the patent holder. Patent holder. That's how we can get to the test. So now I can at least write from this paragraph to the next paragraph. Play the game. See if it succeeds. We'll let that decide the end of the story. Steinreiter, writer. The patent holder tells someone something. Steinreiter, the patent holder, tells. Man, can I say that over again? Perfect Work Camp. 12's camp manager. Soline. It can't. I mean, because you don't really wrap a milkshake, right? I mean, it can only unwrap a milkshake, and it can't cap a milkshake, so it can't partake in that. It already knows. They test this out. Like, I'm gonna go to this thing blind. Solon. It can't. Jimmy can't. Cap and straw a milkshake. So we trained Jimmy just to Celine. Perfect. I mean, I almost want to get dystopian and we'll just leave the name out. I just want probably like Perfect Work Camp Manager 12. The camp manager. Lowercase that. Manager. Nods. Oh, that's up to there. So I've got, I don't know what I have because I just wrote it and I haven't really edited or read over it. I feel like I have something to play this game. Let's see if it succeeds. It might. It might succeed on this Taz. So, 1,000 points. If I get 1,000 points, I think it's 50 per. So, yeah. Head says 1,000 points. If you're Jimmy, she wouldn't call it by the nickname. If you're Jim, does it get, let's see, so if your Jim wraps, how many, let's not do it by points, let's do it by hamburgers. That way I don't have to have some scoring system included into this very short story, and it's hamburgers. So, but each hamburger is worth what, 50? Right. So if they're each worth 50, and do I lose? I don't lose points, I just lose opportunities. So there's 3 chances to collect, man, 20 hamburgers? Yeah, I gotta do 20 hamburgers before I get hit before spilling a milkshake. Is that too easy? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna test myself. It's not. It's probably doable. I don't know if I've done it yet, but I think it's gonna be an interesting at least challenge. 1,000 points if your Jim wraps 20 hamburgers without spilling 1 milkshake. I probably should define. I mean, I should go back here real quick. So it was like conveyor belts to cook assembled. I'm going to put one more sentence detail in here just to be able to give the dimension and the width. The trainable animal zone. The Taz is the Taz's width spans, how many conveyor belts is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that true? Yeah, I think so. I'm just going to go with it. Spans 8 conveyor belts. With each conveyor rolling, moving, twisting the other way. The Taz width spans 8 conveyor belts with each conveyor rolling another way, rolling the opposite way. Okay, that's good enough. Now let's go back to this. The camp manager nods their head and says 1,000 points if your Jim wraps 20 hamburgers without 1 milkshake. A Jimmy stands, a Jimmy steps from the wheeled cage. I don't know how to spell wheeled. Weld. How much time do I really have? I got 25 minutes. Let's play this game just a little bit. Oh, I should have done this. Let's get this sentence. Let's set this up. It's short, furry body steps onto at the edge to the edge of the conveyor belt rows. To the edge of the rows of conveyor belt. Jimmy steps from the wheeled cage. It's short, furry body steps to the edge of the rows of conveyor belts. Jimmy steps from the wheeled cage. Its short, furry body steps to the edge of the rows of the conveyor belts. Who was writing? Stein writing? Man, there's a lot of characters in this for such a short story. Such a flash story, rather. Stein slides a stack of wrappers and opens its mouth, and opens its mouth, and opens its mouth. That's wider than its big head. Stein slides a stack of wrappers into, there's two P's, right? Into the Jimmy's mouth. The Jimmy's long, skinny arms lift go. Well, show me whenever you're ready. Says the camp manager. I think I'll just name that person camp manager. They don't have a name. They're camp manager. Just, yeah. Maybe. Wonder what this delay is like too. Like how far away. Huh. I don't know yet. Maybe. Let's whenever your Jimmy is ready, says the data camp manager. Whenever your gym is ready. Whoa, Stein says wrap. Now. Wrap hamburgers. Now. All right, so let's play this. Let's see how it goes. Let's maybe. I need to get 1,000. That's it. I might get it. I'm halfway there. So I got halfway there the first time. I mean, really, if you just wait in the middle of one, I mean, they do get, wow, I need, oh, shit. Got it. Passed the test. They're really going to succeed the first time. Wow. They're going to keep getting burgers. They win. This is it. I don't need to suffer through. Jimmy did good. 1350, passed the test. And then we'll have him hit the milkshake. The Jimmy's tiny feet and pipe-like legs. Twist, step, circle, step in the circle. Steps, twists the body. Shuffle, and twirls body. And slowly twirls body. It's slowly twirling body. What does a slowly twirling body do? The Jimmy's tiny feet and pipe-like legs shuffle and slowly twirl its body. Its slowly twirling body spins faster and faster and faster into a blur. The Jimmy's spins over the conveyor belts. Passing, moving, and hauling milkshakes and hamburgers. The Jimmy's large eyes and tuned body time a spin and steps to pull a wrapper from its mouth one at a time. And other hand grabs a hamburger while the Jimmy spins and the conveyor belt moves. The Jimmy wraps the hamburger before one spin is complete and lays the hamburger on the conveyor belt. Then spins to another conveyor belt, stepping away to step from a milkshake. Into another hamburger, 2 conveyor belts away. All right. All right, Jimmy. Got 20. No, we got less time. About 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I started the timer late. I think I got, well, I got session time. I got 15 minutes. Take that back. 15 minutes. The Jimmy spins and wraps. Moving over the conveyor belts between milkshakes like a tornado. Avoiding the trailer. Jimmy wraps 1, then 2, then 6 hamburgers. The work camp manager turns the speed dial and increasing that increases the speed of the conveyor belt. The Jimmy spin and step, nearly slip and tip a milkshake. It spins to the next belt, going the other way, and wraps a hamburger. Then another, then another, then another. Even after wrapping the 10th hamburger, the Jimmy wraps, what was it? You got 1300, 1350, or is that the last score right there? Is 1650? 1650, that's great. Let's say it's that. So that would be 33 hamburgers. The milkshake spreads over the conveyor belts. Belts. An alarm goes off. Alarm, sirens once, and water sprays. And 2, 2 jimmies. Train to spin and wipe surfaces. Spin onto and clean. Using their mouths. Stein, the patent holder, wins the war against the worker. Camp manager. Well, that's what happened. They won the contract. I think I'm done with it. Let's go ahead and play this one more time unless we just allowed to just be done. Turned out to be a decent story, at least a little bit long. I don't know if it's going to make any sense. This is Taz. This is the game that inspired the story. I set up a constraint for myself to have to reach a certain number and would dictate of how that story ended. I don't know if it's really successful at this point in time. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it just sucks. Yeah. I'm not that good right now. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just turn this timer off. Well, I'll leave the timer on. It's not really synced with session time anyway, so I'm just going to turn it off. Session time's at 1 hour and 23 minutes. I gave myself 1 hour and 30 minutes, 7 minutes. I'm going to read this story. For today's video game, flash fiction story inspired by the Atari 2600 game called Taz. Taz. The trainable animal zone is part of a food R&D pipeline that feeds the human workers of Perfect Work Camp 12 and tests new bio and mineral machines to package food throughout the world. The Tornado Wrapper, a bio machine made for the military to spin through enemy lines and tie up the enemy of an animal or pull out wires if a machine. We can save money and use this to sell to package things, said Steinreiter, the patent owner of the biomachine wrapper. The board of Perfect Work Camp 12 promised to pay Steinreiter with shares of Perfect Work Camp if the test for the trainable animal zone the Taz, is a success. The trainable animal zone is a series of bidirectional conveyor belts used to allow biomachines, mostly humans, and a few metal machines, like the conveyor belts, to cook, that assemble and wrap hamburgers and fill cups with milkshakes, sauce, cap the cup and insert a straw. The Taz delivers the food to workers living in the Perfect Work Camps. The Taz's widths span 8 conveyor belts, with each conveyor rolling the opposite way. Perfect Work Camp 12 tests the Jimmy, a nickname given to it by the military from the acronym JIM, that wraps and unwraps things. The trainable animal zone slotted the noon test for Jimmy's Taz to see if, for Jimmy's Jim, oh man, I just messed all that up. I got to reread this. I got to get through this at least once. I mean, it's a lot of words, and yeah, my mistake. Of course, it's my mistake. I'm the one reading it aloud or attempting to. Let's do this from the top one more time. And then my breath won't tickle my nose as much as it is right now. Throughout the day. This is Taz. Taz. The trainable animal zone is part of the R&D pipeline that feeds the human workers of Perfect Work Camp 12 and tests new bio and mineral machines to package food throughout the world. The Tornado Wrapper, a bio machine made from and for the military to spin through enemy lines and tie up the enemy if animal or pull out wires if machine. We can save and may multi-use to sell and package things, said Steinreiter, patent owner of the bio-machine wrapper. The tornado, I mean, that just sucks, man. That's a horrible, oof. I got to at least get this one name right here because it's just like I introduce the tornado wrapper. And how do I jumped, if we're talking about test like the tornado wrapper, let's just do that. So I at least transition the same paragraph to that subject, or rather subject, verb, object. Let's do a thing to an object. Through the world like the tornado wrapper. The tornado wrapper, a bio machine made for the military to spin through enemy lines. All right, let's set that up and translate. That's better. That's just, now that I've wrote the story, is being used to test, being used to test, is being tested in, is being tested in Taz for use to wrap food. Money. And fight and use it to I don't know. I mean, I'm at time right now, so let's just stop and read this. It's been a while since it's taken me taken something. For today's video game flash fiction story, inspired by the Atari 2600 game called Taz. This is Taz. Taz. The trainable animal zone is part of a food R&D pipeline that feeds the human workers of Perfect Work Camp 12 and tests new bio and mineral machines to package food throughout the world like the tornado wrapper. The tornado wrapper, a bio machine made for the military to spin through enemy lines and ties the enemy animal or pulls out wires if machine is being tested in Taz for use to wrap food. We can save money and take a war machine and use it to fight the packaging things, said the Steinreiter, patent owner of the tornado wrapper. The board of Perfect Work Camp 12 12 promised to pay Stein Ryder with shares of Perfect Work Camp if the tests of the trainable animal zone of its tornado wrapper was a success. The Trainable Animal Zone TAZ is a series of bidirectional conveyor belts used to allow biomachines, mostly humans, and a few metal machines like the conveyor belts to cook, assemble, and wrap hamburgers and fill cups with milkshake sauce, cap the cup, and insert a straw. The TAZ delivers food to workers living in perfect work camps. The TAZ's width spans 8 conveyor belts, with each conveyor belt rolling the opposite way. Perfect Work Camp 12 tests the Jimmy, a nickname given to it by the military from the acronym JIM, that wraps and unwraps things. Trainable Animal Zone slotted the noon lunch test for Jimmys to see if Perfect Work Camp wanted to use and build the Jimmy. The Jimmy stands 2 feet tall with engineered muscles able to make it spin its top-heavy body with its narrow waist and skinny legs. The Jimmy's top-heavy body holds rope or paper to wrap hamburgers and is engineered to sanitize. The Jimmy looks like a dust devil when it spins to wrap or unwrap a thing. Jimmy has been trained to wrap hamburgers on bidirectional surfaces. Stein Ryder, the patent holder, tells Perfect Work Camp manager, Jimmy can't cap or straw a milkshake, so we've trained Jimmy just to wrap hamburgers. And clean. The camp manager nods her head and says, 1,000 points. If your Jimmy wraps 20 hamburgers without spilling one milkshake, that's 1,000 points. A Jimmy steps from a wilt cage. Its short, furry body steps to the edge of the rows of the conveyor belt and opens its mouth, wider than its big head. Stein slides a stack of wrappers into Jimmy's mouth. Jimmy's long, skinny arms lift to its sides. When your Jim is ready, says the camp manager. Stein says, wrap hamburgers now. The Jimmy's tiny feet and pipe-like legs shuffle and slowly twirl its body. Its slowly twirling body spins faster and faster and faster into a blur. The Jimmy spins over conveyor belts, moving and hauling milkshakes and hamburgers. The Jimmy's large eyes and tuned body time and spin and step to pull a wrapper from its mouth, one at a time, and the other hand grabs a hamburger while the Jimmy spins. The conveyor belt moves. The Jimmy wraps the hamburger before one spin is complete and lays the hamburger on the conveyor belt and spins to another conveyor belt to step from a milkshake to another hamburger, moving 2 conveyor belts away. The Jimmy spins and wraps, moving over the conveyor belt between milkshakes like a tornado, avoiding the trailer parks. The Jimmy wraps 1, then 2, then 6 hamburgers. The work camp manager turns the speed dial that increases the speed of the conveyor belts. The Jimmy spins and steps, nearly slipping and tripping on a milkshake. It spins to the next conveyor belt, going the other way, and wraps a hamburger, then another, then another, then another. Even after wrapping the 10th hamburger, the Jimmy wraps the 13th hamburger before spinning into milkshakes, the 33rd hamburger before spinning into milkshakes. The milk spreads over the conveyor belts and alarm sirens, and 1, then 2 Jimmys, trained to spin and wipe surfaces, spin onto the conveyor belt and clean, using their mouths' engineered saliva to sanitize the washcloths. Stein, the patent holder of the Jimmy, wins the war against the worker. The camp manager signs the contract with Stein and the Jimmys. That was video game flash fiction for the day. The reading was somewhat of a success. The writing was fun. But it is done. And now that it's done, let's publish this to the archive of video game flash fiction stories. Make some note. Inspired by the game Taz. And that is today's video game flash fiction. Till the next game, I guess until the next write. Game on.